Boeing spent billions trying to fix a plane that should have been replaced, and airlines are still paying for it. That is the real story behind this comparison. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why the gap between these two planes has gotten bigger, why it matters to every single person who buys a plane ticket, and which aircraft is actually winning the narrow-body war in 2026.
So here is what we are covering today. The Boeing 737 MAX 8 versus the Airbus A320neo. These are the two most flown short and medium-haul jets on the planet right now. Airlines use them on routes you fly every week. New York to Miami, London to Madrid, Dubai to Karachi. They carry more passengers per year than any other aircraft type in history. And yet, these two planes come from completely different design philosophies, different eras of thinking. And in 2026, one of them is clearly ahead. Let us get into it.
To understand why the 737 and A320 are the way they are today, you need to understand what each company was trying to do when they built them, because those original decisions still affect passengers and airlines right now in 2026.
The Boeing 737 first flew in 1967. Yes, 1967. That was 3 years before the first Boeing 747 even entered service. The original 737 was a small, simple plane, built to replace the 727 on shorter routes. It sat so low to the ground that the engines had to be mounted under the wing and pushed slightly forward and flat at the bottom because there was not enough clearance underneath. That design choice, made over 50 years ago, is still on every 737 flying today. Boeing did not redesign the plane from the ground up. Instead, they kept updating it. The Classic series in the 1980s, the Next Generation in the 1990s, and then the MAX in 2017. The reason Boeing kept doing this rather than starting fresh was money. A new clean sheet aircraft costs between $15 and $20 billion to develop. Every time Boeing updated the 737, pilots who already had a 737 type rating could fly the new version with minimal extra training. Airlines did not need to spend millions retraining their crews. That saved costs across the board, for Boeing and for the airlines. But that shortcut came with serious consequences, which we will get to. The Airbus A320 first flew in 1987, a full 20 years after the original 737. Airbus started fresh. They built a completely new airframe with a wider fuselage, fly-by-wire controls, and a high-mounted engine position that gave the plane much more ground clearance. When Airbus updated the A320 to the neo, which stands for New Engine Option, in 2016, they were able to simply hang larger, more fuel-efficient engines under the wing without making any weird adjustments to the airframe geometry. The A320neo just worked. The 737 MAX, on the other hand, needed a software system called MCAS to compensate for the way its new, heavier CFM LEAP engines changed the plane's handling because of that old, low-to-the-ground fuselage design. That MCAS system is what caused 2 crashes in 2018 and 2019 and killed 346 people. Boeing's 737 MAX was grounded for 20 months, the longest grounding of a commercial jet in aviation history.
That context matters. It is not ancient history. It is the reason the A320 family now leads the 737 in almost every commercial metric that matters.
Let us talk about what passengers actually feel when they sit down. The A320's fuselage has an interior cabin width of 146 inches. The 737 MAX cabin width is 139 inches. That 7-inch difference sounds small, but it translates directly into seat and aisle width, and that is something every passenger feels on every flight. In a standard 3-3 economy layout on the A320neo, each seat is about 18 inches wide. On the 737 MAX, in the same 3-3 layout, seats come in at around 17 inches wide. 1 inch per seat does not sound significant until you are sitting in a middle seat next to a larger person on a 4-hour flight. It matters. The A320 also has a wider center aisle, about 20 inches, versus the 737's 17 inches, which means boarding and deplaning is measurably faster.
Airlines love faster turnarounds because a plane sitting on the ground is not making money. So the wider cabin does not just make passengers happier, it actually helps airlines run more efficiently.
The overhead bins on both planes have been upgraded in recent years. The A320neo with the airspace cabin interior offers XL overhead bins that can fit a full-size carry-on bag stored on its side. The 737 MAX with Boeing's Sky interior also handles standard carry-ons, but the tighter fuselage means slightly less overhead volume per row. On packed flights, the A320 consistently boards faster because fewer people are fighting over bin space.
The numbers that move money.
The Boeing 737 MAX 8 has a range of approximately 3,550 nautical miles. The Airbus A320neo has a range of about 3,400 nautical miles. So the 737 MAX 8 actually edges out the A320neo on range by around 150 nautical miles. That gap opens up a few route options for airlines. Think longer, thin routes across the continental US or over water hops in Southeast Asia, where the extra range gives the 737 MAX 8 a real competitive edge. When you move to the stretched versions, the 737 MAX 10 versus the A321neo, the story flips hard in Airbus's favor. The A321neo XLR, which entered service in 2024, has a range of 4,700 nautical miles. That is transatlantic range on a narrow-body jet. Airlines like Iberia, Aer Lingus, and American Airlines are using the A321 XLR to fly routes that previously needed wide-body jets, routes like Madrid to Boston or Dublin to New York. The 737 MAX 10 has a range of just 3,300 nautical miles. There is no Boeing equivalent to the XLR. That is not a minor gap. That is a completely different capability class.
In terms of seating, the 737 MAX 8 carries up to 178 passengers in a single-class layout. The A320neo carries up to 194 passengers in a single-class layout. More seats on the same airframe means more revenue per flight, and that math repeats on every single departure, every single day.
Both planes use the CFM International LEAP engine as an option. The A320neo uses the LEAP-1A, and the 737 MAX uses the LEAP-1B. On paper, both engines deliver around 15 to 20% better fuel efficiency compared to the previous generation aircraft they replaced. But efficiency is not just about the engine. It is about how the whole system works together. Independent analyses from aviation data firms like Cirium and Che Aviation consistently show the A320neo burns about 2 to 4% less fuel per seat per trip than the 737 MAX 8 when you factor in the wider cabin, higher passenger count, and aerodynamic efficiency of the airframe. On a single flight, 2 to 4% sounds tiny. Multiply that across a fleet of 100 aircraft flying 5 routes a day for 365 days, and you are talking about tens of millions of dollars in jet fuel savings per year. Airlines care deeply about this number. Maintenance costs are another area where the A320 has an advantage. The A320neo's higher ground clearance means ground crews can service the engines without specialized equipment. The 737 MAX's flat-bottom engines sit close to the ground, and certain maintenance tasks require either special tooling or more labor time. These costs add up over the life of an aircraft, which is typically 25 to 30 years. This section is important and deserves direct, clear treatment. The 737 MAX was directly involved in 2 fatal crashes: Lion Air Flight 610 in October 2018 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 in March 2019. The MCAS software that caused both accidents was designed to compensate for the altered flight characteristics caused by the repositioned, heavier LEAP-1B engines, a direct result of the old 737 airframe not having enough engine clearance. Boeing's internal communications revealed during congressional investigations showed that some engineers had concerns about the design. Pilots were not fully informed about MCAS before the crashes.
After 20 months grounded, the MAX returned to service in late 2020 with significant software updates to MCAS and required additional pilot training. Since returning to service, the MAX has had no fatal accidents and has accumulated a large number of flight hours without the same issues repeating. In 2024, a door plug blowout on an Alaska Airlines 737 MAX 9 during flight, while non-fatal, put Boeing under intense regulatory scrutiny again. The FAA capped Boeing's MAX production rate and launched deep audits into its manufacturing processes. As of 2026, Boeing is still under elevated regulatory oversight. The FAA and international safety agencies require stricter checks on MAX production. This has slowed Boeing's delivery rates, which directly hurts airlines waiting for jets they ordered years ago. The A320neo has had no comparable safety crisis. It is certified with a clean record internationally, and no major airworthiness directive has forced grounded operations at scale. For airline procurement teams and passengers who pay attention to this stuff, that difference in track record matters. The commercial market is voting very clearly. As of early 2026, Airbus has a backlog of over 8,600 aircraft across its entire A320 family. Boeing's 737 family backlog sits around 4,900 aircraft. Airbus is delivering more jets per month and converting more new orders. In 2025, Airbus delivered 793 aircraft total across all programs. Boeing delivered around 575, a recovery from previous years, but still trailing Airbus, largely because of the production caps, manufacturing quality investigations, and the aftermath of the door plug incident. Airlines in Asia, the Middle East, and Europe are increasingly choosing the A320neo family as their primary narrow-body platform. Indigo, the largest airline in India by passengers, has ordered over 1,000 A320 family jets. Air India placed a major order for 250 jets, heavily weighted toward the A320neo and A321neo. Even some historically loyal Boeing customers have diversified. United Airlines, long a Boeing heavy operator, placed a significant A321neo order in 2023.
The one area where Boeing holds strong loyalty is within the United States. American, Southwest, and United all have large 737 MAX fleets and are locked into the type because of pilot training, maintenance infrastructure, and parts standardization. Switching costs are real. But even in the US market, new wide-body and narrow-body orders increasingly favor the Airbus side of the catalog.
The A320neo uses a fly-by-wire control system, meaning pilot inputs go through a computer before reaching the control surfaces. This is the same system Airbus has used since the original A320 in 1987. It includes flight envelope protection, which physically prevents pilots from putting the plane into an attitude that would cause a stall or structural failure. The system does not fight the pilot, it just sets limits. Most pilots trained on fly-by-wire say it reduces workload in high-stress situations.
The 737 MAX uses conventional hydraulic controls with computer assistance, not full fly-by-wire. Boeing's philosophy has traditionally been to give pilots more direct control over the aircraft, keeping the computer as an assistant rather than a gatekeeper. That philosophy has its supporters in the pilot community, particularly among pilots who trained on older aircraft. However, the MCAS failure exposed the risk of incomplete automation transparency. The system was acting on the aircraft without pilots fully knowing it was doing so or how to override it in real-world emergency conditions.
For airlines, pilot type ratings are a massive cost consideration. A pilot who already holds an A320 type rating can move between the A319, A320, A321, and even some A330 variants with a relatively short differences course. Boeing's common type rating across the 737 family works similarly. The key difference in 2026 is that Airbus has a broader and more connected family. Pilots moving through Airbus's training pipeline have a clearer path to wide-body jets through shared cockpit similarities between the A320 family and the A330neo or A350.
The Boeing 737 MAX 8 is not a bad aircraft. Let that be clear. Since returning to service, it has flown hundreds of millions of passengers safely. Its range, cost per seat, and the massive installed base of trained pilots and mechanics across US carriers make it a commercially viable jet for the right airline in the right market.
But in 2026, the A320neo family is the stronger overall product. The wider cabin delivers a better passenger experience with more seats generating more revenue. The cleaner airframe design leads to lower fuel burn per seat. The A321XLR opens routes that no 737 variant can fly. Airbus's production reliability and delivery pace give airlines more confidence in fleet planning. And the overall safety and certification track record of the A320neo carries less regulatory risk for airline procurement teams who have to answer to boards and investors.
Boeing is working hard to recover. The new 737 MAX 10 certification process is ongoing, and Boeing's new leadership team has committed to fixing the production quality culture issues that led to 2024's problems. Long-term, Boeing's real answer is a new clean-sheet narrow body to replace the 737 entirely, something analysts expect to be announced in the late 2020s. But for now, in the actual market conditions of 2026, Airbus is delivering more planes, winning more orders, and offering a product that gives airlines and passengers more of what they need. If you are a passenger choosing a seat, you are more often going to be more comfortable on an A320neo. If you are an airline CFO running the numbers on a new fleet order, the A320neo family gives you more tools to build a profitable network. Boeing still has loyal customers, a strong US market position, and engineering talent that should not be underestimated. But the scorecard right now is not close. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next deep dive comparison. We are getting into wide bodies next.